1930. We kind of had Scotch tape around there holding it in. But I guess it's time to go here. You guys ready for this? Okay. So I'm going to lift it up.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Well, there is something in there. Okay? It's not empty.
Oh, here we go.
Takes
two hands.
Kingston Enterprise. What's the date on it?
Wow.
What's the date, Mr. Green? Say.
All right, what we have in the box, and this is all that is in the box. There are some leaves maybe, or just, I guess it's just old paper still in there. And Mr. Drake commented that it might have been some notes that didn't survive the 88 years. Nothing legible there, but the date on the newspaper, it's titled The Kingston Enterprise, Volume 16, August 29th, 1930. Now, on the front page, I'm probably just going to read some of the headlines that are in the newspaper. You want to do that? It talks about the White Creek Reunion. The second annual reunion of White Creek School will be held Labor Day, Monday, September 1st at Barrett's Woods near the schoolhouse. There is a picture of a baseball player who's the new Robin Hurler. And this would be national news, playing for the Brooklyn Robins. Of course, you know, there's a political cartoon on the front also that has what looks like maybe a barbarian talking to another. Hard to describe what that is saying. You know, it is easy. The quality of the newspaper is, I would say, in pretty good shape. I can read everything that's there. It's been typed. It's all easy to read, and it's not blemished a whole lot, just a few places. Here's something. This is an interesting headline. It says Shea Lake Park. Shea Lake Park. We all know about Shea Lake, where that's located. Silverwood wins again in a fast, sensational battle with DeFord. The score was 6-5 in favor of Silverwood, and it sounds like this is a baseball game. The names of the players that played very well, says, were Alex Hunter and Jim Walker. Anything else? And here's another name that a lot of people will be familiar with. It says, you know, there must have been some elections going to be held, and it says Maurice Ransford, candidate for prosecuting attorney in Tuscola County. And the primary was going to be September 9th. So Ransford Funeral Homes in Carroll. The Kingston Butter Company has an ad for 39-cent butter fats and 23-cent eggs at the Kingston Butter Company. Cash paid for cream and eggs, and 3 rolls of toilet tissue. How much is that going to cost? 3 rolls of toilet tissue. 20 cents. 20 cents. John McKinney is Richard Taylor's grandfather. Did I get that right? Okay, and Richard's back here sitting.
Their store was down by where Ed Kaminsky had it.
Here's another name that I know is somewhat connected to my family. It says George Jeffrey is the Republican candidate for sheriff of Tuscola County. George Jeffrey, do we know who that is? There's a connection there. Okay, I'm seeing heads go up. What about the main store uptown? What was the name? What would have been the main store uptown? The name?
Heinemann.
Heinemann. I hear Heinemann. And Heinemann's have an ad in the paper. And again, they're selling, I'll just give a few examples. Men's heavy overalls. Men's heavy overalls, 95 cents. Good drinking coffee. Of course, we want a good 25 cents. And gold dust. A large package of gold dust. Most of it is 25 cents. All right, here, Mr. Drake right away saw an ad that, or it's not an ad, it's just a news report that Kingston schools open Monday, September 15th. So students back then had a little bit longer summer vacation than what we're getting now. But they started September 15th. Oh, and Mr. Drake found something interesting. It says, tuition remains the same as in previous years. High school tuition to non-resident students is $60. They talk about Wilmot. The school board is installing a new furnace at the schoolhouse, hoping it will be satisfactory. That's Wilmot news from the in the paper. Did we have a hardware in town? J.J. Barden Hardware. And for sale, they have an ad here. It looks for a coal burner. Is that about right? Looks like it's... Okay. Hetrola Free Coal Club. And it looks like some type of deal for getting coal for the Hetrola Model 6D coal burner. That's on sale at Barden's Hardware. And
I'd like to mention, I wasn't going to talk to you, but I wanted to mention, with the Kingston Enterprise, anybody that was in the service that was from the area, if you turned your name in, the Kingston Enterprise would send you a free paper every week. Because I can remember putting labels on, and I used to like to do the military run. And so anybody that was in the military, if they knew it, they would send out a free paper to them every week.
thank you. Something else we've noticed here are like the Kingston Rebecca Lodge number 366 had these members that were listed, or they might have been part of their board. Ruth Ruggles, Lena Clark, and Meta Schlunz. The Newberry Lodge of an abbreviation I'm not familiar with, but I think Newberry, correct me if I'm wrong here, Richard, but at one time, Kingston, back in the 1800s, was known as Newberry. And so here's some members of the Newberry Lodge. Clifford Campbell, Herbert Roberts, Bruce Ruggles, Norman Ruggles. There is a Kingston Lodge, and it's F&AM. F&AM is the abbreviation. Members are Norman Ruggles, M.L. Steele, and Frank Green. There is another market uptown called Legs Markets. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, Richard. Now, is that where La Hacienda is right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the current La Hacienda, that was known as Legs Market, and they have, it says, we want poultry, calves, hogs, and cattle, short and long distance trucking. That's what their ad says.
While you're getting your thoughts together, Jay, I'd like to add a couple of things. The school book, if you'd like a school book and a lot more information, they're in the depot. They got their books over there. There's some neat stories on the families. A lot of stories on families and books are in the depot. You go take a look at those. A lot of families. And veterans, you mentioned veterans. There's some veterans books over there. A lot of the veterans during World War II, I'm not sure World War I and World War II, they wrote home and put the articles in the Enterprise. For that whole time span, they're in the veterans book in the depot right now. So if you'd like to read on those, there's a lot of them there to go right along with them. And there's some more stories on the Jeffries to add to that. Give you a chance to get your thoughts around. How you doing, Jay?
Yeah, we're on the back page now, and I did not know we had a department store in town in 1930. Can you believe?
Berman's, yeah.
In 1930, Kingston had a department store called Berman's.
Well known through the country. Well known.
Well known. Okay.
Yes. Surprising for a little town. Yeah.
And here's their ad. This is kind of their slogan for this ad. It is fashion-wise economy to choose a winter coat now. Kingston Lumber Yard was selling 160 pounds of shingles for $4.60 a square. 87 pounds of green slate for $2.25. We have a Orlo, I think I'm saying that right, Orlo McDermott running for county treasurer. And the Kingston State Bank has an ad also in the paper. There is a cartoon on the back also. And then a big, we still see these in our newspapers nowadays also. Basically a list of rules and procedures about primary elections and where to go for those elections. And some foreclosures. There's a list of foreclosures also.
That's bad.
So,
those shingles you mentioned, there was a shingle mill in town too. They made the shingles right here. They did that. So
okay.
What's he looking at? The dust? Is there dust left over?
We got some dust in there. Definitely some dust.
There's some shrapnel at the bottom. There's one piece that looks like it might have been a picture at one point, but it's just so deteriorated. There's another little clump that looks like it might have been a note, but I don't know. There's dust. People can come up and look at it.
Good. And I'm biased. Looks like a mouse has been in there for a week. Just go on. So the other thing to add to that, to me that box has some interest to it. It's somebody made that. It's got, I can see from here, it's got soldered corners. Is that copper? Looks like copper from here.
It looks like a copper box. Yep.
Well, Jay, I am disappointed that there's not in there, but I'm happy these people are here. Any thoughts on that? Anybody want to throw something at us?
Okay.
I just want to mention that Walter Way owned the meat market. He came from Detroit here to buy the meat. That was my great uncle.
Okay, Joy Bowe speaking. Her great uncle was Walter Legg, and we talked about this ad in the meat market, and people from the city, from the Detroit area, would come all the way here to get the meat because this was better than what they had down there.
I'm Dolores Lester.
Dolores Lester's.
I know Eugene Henderson. His son is here. My dad lived in Detroit. But he would come all the way to Kingston to get his haircut by Indian. I know about the Hammond store. He was a beautiful man, Gus was. And so was Joyce. But in '59, my husband and I had a bad financial problem because we were laid off almost 6 months. And he told us to bring the boys in and then Linda and get anything I need for them for school. And he says, you don't have to worry about paying for it until Carl gets a job back and money. And Mr. Burns, that had what we called at that time the drugstore, I got my baby's formula there, and he said he wouldn't take no money either, not until Carl could get back on his feet. And IGA did the same thing, let me charge groceries and everything. And at that time, in '59, groceries wasn't about like bad now, but my bill did get up to $300. He none of them ever once asked me for money. But I paid them. I paid off one first, and then I went to the next one and paid them.
JC Big Bell says something, Jay.
Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to share a story also about relatives or people from back in that time frame?
Come on, John. Step right up here, John. John's been in hardware since 1934.
We talked about Barden's Hardware. Here's John Barden.
Adam Grunwald had a harness shop. He used to make all kinds of leather things and resoled shoes. He was a German immigrant. And, well, he wasn't real organized, but he could find anything. People bring him things to repair. He used to repair harnesses. He had sweat pads.
Hey, John, there was 4 or 5 stories, John, in the depot on Adam Van Wald. And like you say, he had a great harness shop in town.
Is there anybody else?
So thank everybody.
Yeah, I'd like to, on behalf of the Kingston Historical Society and Kingston Community Schools, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Like I said before, this is Memory Park. Just getting together and seeing so many people here tonight is a great event in itself. Getting this piece of history to add to the Kingston Historical Society, which this will be displayed tomorrow at the depot just behind us during Kingston Days. And I know there's going to be discussion too about, what's next? What do we do? Do we make a new time capsule? And where that's going to go. So you'll be probably hearing a little bit more about that. I'm sure the Kingston's going to be the Kingston School will be part of that, and in conjunction with the Historical Society. And just once again, here's somebody else. Carrie Henderson is the president of the Kingston Historical Society. And Richard and Jan and there's so many other members have done a great job of keeping things going. We got... Okay. Yep. We're going to get a picture too. Yep. Come on up.
You want to get a picture of Marguerite?
So again, thanks everybody for coming tonight and sharing this special evening with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't want to talk. I'm going to have to have
Thank you, Jay.
I know. That was Shirley Hyman's dad. See here? Yeah, Morgan?
Oh, do you?
One of my daughters graduated that year. They're big box. Not much in it. You know, it might have been more, but...
Stuff they took out of that. What they did back to the family.